This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. Wow, look at that, everybody. It seemed to work. Everything worked the first time. It had that little pop sound, but that's usually when the connection to the video. But I think it might actually be working now, the audio. And thank you to Georgina, Chihuahua Dawson, Zozo, Tawny Lee, Linda Howe, Miss L, the Velvet Army, Georgina again, Jessica Schubach, Kathy Friedenmaker, and Chihuahua Dawson before the show even started. Thank you. All right. How's everybody doing out there? Yeah, it's been weird. I've been feeling sort of disheartened lately. You know, you got all these YouTubers starting up YouTube, and they're all milking cases over and over and over, and it's just weird how it ends up sucking the oxygen out of the room for everybody else. You know, it's like when you got this guy that shot some drone footage, and he just covers it every day over and over with nothing in it, you know, just trying to make everything sound interesting, and people just, wow. And they just spend all day staring. I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't get it. I don't really get it, but it is what it is, I guess, you know. Oh, wow. Jeez, Amber. When it rains, it falls, I guess. You know? Yeah, and man, I swear to God, some days I want to just be one of the people who milk a case into oblivion. Would you guys support me if I did that? You know, when there's absolutely nothing new to talk about, but I could just keep going over it, like Dylan Rounds, for example. What is there really to discuss right at this point? Other than the same rumor mill garbage over and over and over again. But I'm telling you, people like it. There's this one crappy YouTuber who had 3,000 people watching nothing. I mean, it's scary, you know? I don't know if I've been like 2,500. I don't know if I've ever had 3,000. So maybe just think, man, if you just do sensationalism and just, man, and you had all these people becoming channel members, all these people, you know, just really excited, and it's just, it's scary, man. These people haven't done a damn thing for anybody, you know, but, yeah, here we are doing stuff. Now, let me know if you guys hear any, they're not digging into anything. Okay. Yeah, so, let me know if you guys hear the audio like Jeff was doing, because now what happened is after the show, I was just really bothering me, but it turns out Zoom was really just letting me know that the drivers were shifting. It wasn't Zoom creating the problem, because when Zoom wasn't open, I was actually listening to some music, and I was playing this game one time, and it was like, nah, it's not really that awesome, Miss K, when you're watching garbage. Yeah. So the thing is, it would go in and out of the audio, and it was really starting to bother me. This is after the show and Zoom, so I just kept trying different things over and over. Then I went to the Yamaha website, who actually, I have an MG10XU, audio board. The board with the knobs and everything that you plug your jacks into and everything. So I went onto the website, and I had already installed their new driver, but right below the new driver was their old one. The one just before. And I was thinking, that's interesting. Why would they even put that there? You got the new one. So I downloaded it, installed it, deleted the old one, installed it, and boom. It fixed everything. And so that in Yamaha technical support, I had a call out, and they called me up, and they told me various things, and said, try this, try that. And I go, hey, listen, I think I fixed it. It's the old driver. Your new driver sucks. It doesn't work. And then it turns out he got back to me. He goes, you know what? That's a known issue. They actually look at what the thing he sent me was exactly what I said. If it doesn't work, install the old driver and boom. So man, I should be working for their technical support or something. I mean, it was pretty crazy, but now it works. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Digging in the ground. It's just, you guys, come on. Right. I mean, we've had almost 3,000 people before on just crazy nights where it's, like a mass shooting or some weird thing like that or something. But how can people literally sit there and stare at nothing burger footage for hours and just like, hey, look at that, there was a tarp on the ground. Oh man, when I was looking at that tarp, I was really nervous. And the tarp isn't even shaped at all like a person. It's just this crumbled up tarp, and it's just, there's shit in the desert, man. People throw stuff out there. Yeah. Whoa, man, I think I was way behind in the chat there. Yeah, it just is what it is. And it's really unreal, but unfortunately, that's what wins, is when you milk a case over and over and over. You can get, like when I was doing the Kanika Jenkins case, I don't know if I'd call it milking it. I kept covering it and covering it because I was the only counter voice to absolute nut jobs, and that was just me making videos. Like if somebody would put something out and I would debunk it, because you needed to have the counter voice. Then I think Molly Tibbetts, there was about a couple-day period where it was like, yeah, and then we quit covering it like that. So, but man, I mean, we do 3 shows a day and just, it's unreal. Let's see. Yeah, well, the problem is, and the thing is that wacko PI that's on everybody, he's like, if you're covering the Dylan rounds and you haven't had him on, you're like an outcast. It's weird. It's like, I don't really give a shit. He was on my show 2 years ago, and I thought he was a used car salesman at that point, and never even contacted him or had him back on again. Yeah, I don't know. Which case are you talking about? Daniel Robinson? Is that what you're talking about? Blaze? No, we haven't had anything updates on that one. Yeah, I mean, I actually try to do it right, And so I did talk to, Colleen today Colleen Fitzpatrick for like an hour. Yeah, we just talked about all kinds of stuff. Politics, everything, But, she was trying to figure out, because, see, the Addison County Doe case, the teeth that they had, they weren't able to get enough DNA to do something. And so I'm telling her, listen, I think I'm all in on that one. So if we have to help pay for exhumation and getting more bones, then that's what we're going to do. All right, so she's going to call there, and then she's going to look for another case, because people just like you who help support my channel that allow us to build up these huge funds. We've got like $20,000 in the DNA fund for them to use. And we've also donated tons and tons of money to NICMEC and Texas Equisearch. And it only happens with the generosity of you guys. All right. So we got a good start there tonight on the beginning of the show, but then we got to keep it going. All right. So thank you very much. Which family are you talking about? What family didn't decide to be on the show? I don't know. What state is Addison? It's on the East Coast. I can't remember the state, but we already did a whole show on it and everything. Went through. There's only like 3 or 4 newspaper articles. They found a woman and her kids. Yeah, one of them was a sibling, I think, and they were dead, and they've never been identified. And it would probably lead to the killer by, why weren't they reported missing, and how did they get there, that kind of thing. So that's one that I really want to, They seemed like they weren't that interested in exhuming, and that's kind of ridiculous, if you ask me. Hey Jeff, I think I got the audio fixed. Let me know if you hear it popping in and out. Sometimes it does that when I play a video that's embedded into Streamlabs, but like, an intro video or something. But that's not related. But I sent you an email. I got a driver update. Thanks, Emily Flotilla. All right. And for those of you who do support the channel, every $5 you get a spin, either for a mug or a notebook. Seems like we've been getting out notebooks lately. This is the notebook right here. And then on PayPal you get an extra spin, 50% extra spin for whatever you send in. Alright, so there you go. That's if you want that kind of stuff. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to get going here. There was in a courtroom in a murder case recently, this father punched the killer. And I was going to play that 2 or 3 days ago, but I got busy with something else and I wasn't able to get to it. But I thought I'd go back in time a little bit and then move forward into time. I've only got like 4 articles here, but we could see how it all developed. It's kind of interesting because I'd never even heard of it. The case, and it seems like it's one that you'd think would have been really sensationalistic and all over the place, but what are you talking about, Lane? Falling to ceiling, massive. I don't even know what that means. Huh? Hey, thank you, Mary Harris. Alright, there we go. And we got 2 more days after, well, tonight and tomorrow. And then we have donation night. And we're about, I don't know, $2,000-$3,000 less than normal months. But hopefully we'll do okay on donation night and at least be able to donate maybe 22,000 or 2,500 more. We've already done 500, because it does, you guys are supporting my channel as well. So thanks, Mary Harris. All right, so here's the case. Man arrested after girlfriend stabbed to death in Walnut Hills, court documents say. Court documents say a man was arrested after, this is 2020 in December. Court documents say a man was arrested after a woman was stabbed to death in Walnut Hills. The affidavit says 20-year-old Deshaun Brown stabbed his girlfriend, 29-year-old Nitisha Lattimore, with an unknown weapon in the 2600 block of Melrose Avenue. Police say they found her body in the 700 block. Here, let's see where this is. So this is... She was stabbed, and I think she was actually in her apartment for 5 days. I mean, this is a crazy one. And then he went in and moved her. She must have been decomposing, and it's pretty wild. I'm not gonna make a folder or anything. We'll just go up and... Oh, well, good. Thanks, Elaine S. I didn't know what you were referring to. Alright, so right around in this area, probably in one of these apartments right here. Somewhere right around in here, she was stabbed to death and apparently left in the apartment. So you can just put that right there. Hey, thank you. Your Gypsy and Billy Juliana, the mayor. Although maybe you don't want to be associated with that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys very much. Really appreciate it. So that's the place where she was killed, and then it looks like police say they found her body in the 700 block of East Pete Rose Way. Yeah, Pete Rose, he can't win, can he? No. 700. Yeah, get rid of block there. East Pete Rose Way, Cincinnati, Ohio. Wait, how did I end up way over there? I think I may put that in the wrong place. That's really bizarre how that just did that. So we're gonna have to... That first one was in the whole... I think maybe even the wrong city. So anyway, she was found right here. Let's see what... Put that there first. Let me go back to the first one. I think I was in the completely wrong area with an address that was exactly the same. So 2600 Melrose Avenue in Cincinnati. Just a second. Okay, yeah, this is totally different. Wasn't that place at all, so... But I think they said... Alright. Probably maybe in that building then, I guess. I thought it was an apartment, but let's just put it right here where she was killed. And that was, she was moved about 3 miles, you know, maybe 3.5 miles driving. So police say they found her body in the 700 block of East Pete Rose Way. It's unclear what caused this to happen. Officers say Nitisha is the mother of a missing 3-year-old, Nilo Lattimore. So her child was missing too. This is an ongoing investigation. Court documents say Brown is facing 1 count of murder, murdering the mother here. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. All right, so we had that. And then about 2 weeks later, Ohio police and volunteers continue search for missing toddler whose mother was murdered. So this guy right here murdered her, and at the same time, this little 3-year-old here is missing. So Nitisha Lattimore, 29, was found dead in the early morning hours of December 12th. Cincinnati police arrested 20-year-old Deshaun Brown for her murder soon after the discovery, the department confirmed in a news release. But Lattimore's 3-year-old son, Nilo Lattimore, was pronounced missing soon after. The child's stroller was located near his mother's body, which was found near the Purple People Bridge. Oh boy. Okay, so she wasn't really found right where they said she was found then, because that's Purple People Bridge. So I mean that's where she was found, but apparently, well, the stroller. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so let me. The stroller was found right here in the water, I think. And I'm imagining now that the water flows that direction. I don't know for sure. There's got to be like a dam or something around here somewhere. Okay, let me go to a different time of year. Now, there you go. Now the water goes this direction. The other direction. Weird. Wow, that's wild. So the water actually flows. It actually goes this way. The volunteers joined with nonprofits North Star International and Ohio Land Star on Sunday to form search parties and scour the land surrounding the Ohio River. Both groups have organized search for the boy every weekend since the mother's death and have utilized the skills of retired police officers, EMTs, and firefighters. So anyways, they weren't able to find the boy yet. I mean, so. And then we move all the way to 2022, June 17th, because he went to trial and everything. And so she's dead, and apparently this little 3-year-old is dead as well.
A man accused of killing a mother and her 3-year-old son Nilo appears in court.
Today's hearing came after Deshaun Brown's defense team requested a reduction in his bond. Brown was charged with their murders in December 2020.
Yeah, Kendall Hyde joins us
Reduction
from the Hamilton County Courthouse
idiots.
downtown.
Rob, Judge Megan Shanahan describes Brown as not only a threat to the community, but also to Nilo and Atisha's family members. Now, many of these details that we have in the story have been previously reported. However, we're just now learning of a possible motive.
Allegedly, Natisha had been pregnant earlier, maybe in July of that year, by Mr. Brown. Natisha had had a miscarriage, and then Mr. Brown had told Jamisha Cobb that he was very upset. He thought that she killed their baby, and he was going to do something to her baby, Nilo.
Jamisha Cobb is a close friend to Brown.
Allegedly, Natisha had been pregnant earlier, maybe in July of that year, by Mr. Brown. Natisha had had a miscarriage, and then Mr. Brown told Jamisha Cobb that he was very upset. He thought that she killed their baby, and he was going to do something to her baby, Nilo.
Jamisha Cobb is a close friend to Brown. So when she learned that he had been arrested, she shared that information with police about the 2020 death of Natisha and Nilo Lattimore. Police say on December 12th, a security guard found Natisha Lattimore's body in a white body bag on the bank of the Ohio River near the Purple People Bridge. Police say her body had multiple bank of the Ohio River. The guard found Natisha Lattimore's body in a white body bag on the bank of the Ohio River.
Wow, her body was found in a white body bag on the bank of the Ohio River. Wow.
Near the Purple People Bridge. Police say her body had multiple stab wounds to her chest and neck, but Nilo was nowhere to be found. The next day, family members went to the bridge to create a memorial and spotted a stroller that looked like Nilo's. Police confirmed that the stroller did in fact belong to the 3-year-old. After finding Natisha's body in Nilo's stroller, police stopped by her home where they found Brown.
There were multiple items removed from the apartment. There were multiple areas that were swabbed. There was blood visible on the wall and some blinds in the bedroom, and that was taken.
I do want to give you another warning that some of these details are a bit graphic. The Hamilton County Coroner's Office swabbed the blood that they found in the home and said it did in fact belong to Natisha. Neighbors say they heard screams the night of December 5th when authorities say Natisha was killed.
The neighbor who lived
they're saying Natisha. Hold on one second.
Earlier, maybe in July of that year, by Mr. Brown. Allegedly, Natisha had been pregnant earlier, maybe in upstairs.
So it's weird. So he got her pregnant, and then the baby, she lost the child, and then he blamed her for killing it, And so then it looks like he then killed her other daughter that wasn't his. Or son, I mean. Just threw him off of a bridge.
Hamilton County Coroner's Office swabbed the blood that was found in the home and said it belonged to Nitisha. And once again, these details are graphic.
We had a criminalist come out at that point, and she swabbed this part in the ceiling that was in the apartment below where the water had been coming from. And the woman who lives there actually kept the pot.
The criminalist swabbed the pot as well.
And we sent that off to the Hamilton County Crime Lab for analysis.
And did that come back to Nathaniel Harvey's blood as well?
Yes, it did.
It is. Brutal.
Now, Jess, Rob, it's been 2 years since Nilo's body's been missing, and they think it's in the Ohio River. They said they've been searching high and low for it, but they just can't find it, so they have officially called off the search for Nilo's body. As far as Brown goes, he is being held on no bond, as we did report, but he's also scheduled to be back in court next week on the 23rd, and his trial is set to start in August. Live in Hamilton County, Kendall Hyde, Fox 19 now.
All right, Kendall, thank you very much. Great.
All right, so then it went to trial,
A man accused of
and I think that there was must have been a guilty verdict. Let's see, here we go. Oops, shit. All right, here we go. So the father of the child that was killed is in the courtroom, and here's the killer right here, and this is how it went.
Back here on the screen. Thank you.
I mean, that, you know what's great is that guy got in an awesome punch. I mean, he went right up there and just boom. And I don't think he should get anything, any punishment at all.
Base, can we get back up in 560 now? Scott?
Look at that stupid guy's face.
Don't move!
What do you need?
Have him scoot in.
So he's the one that, the daughter that was, or the son that was thrown off the bridge, the 3-year-old, that's the guy, the father's right there on the ground. So he punched the guy who killed him.
Judge, can you hit the panic alarm, please?
Yeah, obviously she already had it. That's why he was 3 years old, TTJ. And that's the father right there. Almost feels like they gave him they let him do it a little bit, right?
You gonna come up for us?
I mean, normally you can't get anywhere near anybody.
Stop. Let me hit you.
You know, one thing that's crazy is that they should have just got the guy out of the courtroom, the criminal, the killer, immediately. I don't know if this, I think that might have just been a hearing, actually. It wasn't really a guilty anything, it's just a hearing.
These are not gonna come. You go ahead.
She did get pregnant with him. Okay. So the guy on the ground right here is the father of the 3-year-old that was thrown off the bridge. The guy that he just punched in the face got the same mother pregnant and then apparently lost that child. So for payback for losing his child, he went in, he killed her other existing child. I mean, what a psycho, right?
Calm down. Stop. Stop. Are you okay? Stop. Yeah.
See, why isn't he out of there already? You know what I mean? Like, they should have taken him right the hell out of there. Seems like, anyways.
Let me hear you.
I think I just had a microphone issue right there. I don't know what that was.
These are not come. You go ahead.
Oh, got it. Calm down. Calm down.
Can you hear something now?
Stop. Are you okay? Stop. Yeah.
Well, I had Zoom open that whole time, so... Yeah, that one actually shut it off. I can see it. But let me know. I turned off Zoom, so let me know if it does anything else.
What's wrong with you?
Chill out, dude. Take it. Take it. No. Come with me. All right, you go.
Chill out. Chill out.
No.
Chill out.
Sit down. Sit.
Nope.
Sit down now.
Have a seat. You good? Hey, chill out.
I'm good. No, not good.
Have a seat in the courtroom.
You got a pair of cuffs?
No. He's not.
He just acting a fool.
Sir, stop talking or we're taking you into custody. Sit down and go home.
Dude ain't even in here.
I'm good. I want you to be okay.
Base unit 2560 update.
You good? Dude ain't even in here. Chill out. Ain't no reason to fight us. You understand? That's just gonna hurt you. No reason to fight us. Dude ain't even in here. You got it?
I like how they were, kind of nice to
No reason to
him.
fight us.
I don't know why they should have just taken that guy out immediately, though.
You calm? Are you sure? Come on up. Go on. Hey, you calm down.
Let the system.
You okay, Sonia? I know you ran into this. You all right, Sonia?
Wow.
All right, I'm just making sure you're in.
That's just ridiculous.
Go up.
Well, you should have maybe checked to make sure that he's been moved far away. Yeah. So, anyways, man, that's just crazy. Looney Tunes right there. Huh. Well, that was weird that, let me try it again. I'm gonna do another experiment with Zoom.
Recording in progress.
Using your microphone. Okay. I'm trying to get this thing resolved. I'm not really sure. I wonder if it's because Zoom is also on. Something like that. I mean, OBS. So anyway, it's just an experiment. It's running on the side. It seemed to not happen for quite a bit longer than normal, though. Nah, I'm going to move on to something else. Yeah. Okay, I'll show the punch again. All right. I mean, he just, boom. Hopefully he broke the jaw of that guy. Hold on, I gotta get the bots on. Alright guys, so I'm gonna move on to the next case here. The Brownstown case, the sheriff, remember the case with the 3 boys that were burned inside of a cabin? Well, the sheriff sent me a PDF file, and he was just on a couple shows because they're exhuming the bodies in that case. So that's good. Good news. Yeah, definitely clicked him. That was a good one. Okay. So the next one I'm not going to go to Brownstown now. I'm going to go do this other case of Donna Macho, the one that we didn't get to last night. But see, it's going to be me reading, everybody. So if you guys would like to help out the channel, even though I'm reading, it is what it is, all right? A lot of times when I'm reading, it just turns into a disaster for that aspect of it. Now, it was cool that he got just an absolutely a punch in that wasn't, there was no diminishing of it at all. Like there wasn't, he just went up, cocked back, and just hammered the guy right in the face. And it's too bad he didn't have something, I mean, it's great that he didn't kill him or something, because then he'd get in trouble for it. But I don't know. I think people would even have a little bit of sympathy for something like that. He'd probably get second-degree murder with 2 years in prison and, time served, just out. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go back to 1984. This is Donna Macho. And there really was no articles in like 84, 85, 86, because she was missing. Or, she's missing at this point. And I think I can't remember now if they found her or not, but I don't think they did. Who are you talking about, Virginia? No, I didn't say that. God. Man. How did you come up with that, with what I said? I said, if the dad had killed the guy, if I was on a jury and he got second-degree murder for killing the guy who killed his son, I would give him, like, if it came down to it, maybe maximum of 2 years and let him out, like parole after 1 or some shit. I mean, he shouldn't get any, or nothing. It's like, how can you not do that when somebody kills your kid? You know what I'm saying? Alright, so 5 years bring few clues on missing women. And this is her right here. Donna Macho. Five years ago today, Donna Macho disappeared. The subsequent discovery by police of her bloodstained car has caused investigators to suspect foul play. On February 26, 1984, the 19-year-old legal secretary had been watching television in her apartment at her parents' former home on Cherry Brook Lane. So this is in, so I'll go to that first. Yeah, come on. Trying to find, there it is. Okay, Cherry Brook Lane. Cherry Brook Lane. And this is in East Windsor, there you go. East Windsor, New Jersey. Okay, so maybe we'll get more specific later, but it's like it's right on just this little tiny road right here. Okay, so that's where she lived. So let's see. She had been watching television in her apartment at her parents' former home on Cherry Brook Lane. Macho remained in her basement level apartment while her sister went upstairs to sleep at about 2:45 a.m. Donna had been planning to go to her office later that day. So, you know, later that day meaning like it's so early, it's late early morning, so it's just later that day. Donna had been planning to go to her office later that day to catch up on work, even though it was a Sunday. So nobody thought it was unusual that she wasn't home, he said. By 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., however, the Macho family began to worry and called police. Some 90 minutes later, police found her black 1979 Chrysler parked on the shoulder of Milestone Road, not far from the Cranberry border. Or Millstone Road. So let's see. I'm not sure what that even means. You know, it's like when they give you a border, it's like, come on, just give an address. Okay. So this is Millstone Road, right? Shoulder of Millstone Road, not far from Cranberry border. So Millstone Road looks like, you know, that goes all the way down. Does that count too? So that's not it there. So it starts right here, Millstone Road, and I guess it continues all the way up to 34 up there. So somewhere, we'll just put a pin on Millstone Road somewhere. Oh, hey, thank you very much to Peggy Day and also to thank you very much, very generous to Nancy Joel Ramirez. I don't have the, if there's a YouTube name, I don't know what it is. But it says, thanks Gray for all you do. Well, thank you. I just heard a little pause right there in the music. You guys could probably hear that too. Let me see if that did anything over on Zoom. No? I didn't see it over there. But have you heard any of the pops and stuff that you normally hear, Jeff? Just checking in. Or the breaks just randomly? Or is it way less than normal or what? Oh, well, thanks. Being Nancy, thank you. Alright, well, I got your actual real name on there. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what the deal was a minute ago when it switched out. I don't know what that was, so, but at least it seems to be working better. Yeah. Well, it never used to do on my old computer. Alright, so right now she was staying over at she lives in an apartment at where her parents used to live, and she was downstairs, I guess, or in her apartment, and then her sister went upstairs to go to sleep at 2:45, and then by 5 p.m., let's see, Donna had been planning to go to the office later that day to catch up on work, even though it was a Sunday, so nobody thought it was unusual that she wasn't home. By 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., however, the Macho family began to worry and called police. Some 90 minutes later, police found her black 1979 Chrysler parked on the shoulder of Millstone Road, not far from the Cranberry border. The 4 doors were unlocked. Brown leather pocketbook with cash, credit cards, and driver's license intact was found on the seat. So on the driver's seat there were, cash, credit cards, license, but the distressing discovery for police was stains of what later tested positive as Donna Macho's own blood on the upholstery and on the ceiling. Oh man, it's almost like it's pretty severe, like an attack where blood was flying all over the place. Could be, like a gunshot to the head or something where it, cast off, went up to the roof of the car or something. It was a cold night, and the last thing she has been wearing was a blue nightgown and maybe a black hooded jacket and boots. Donna Macho's family has since moved to another state, but the missing person case has remained active in Rossi's file for 5 years. I must have tracked down 100 leads, checked every report of a found cadaver or decomposed body, he said. Her dental charts never match. Recently, Rossi said he has sought help from psychic Dorothy Allison of Nutley. The psychic testimony is not admissible as evidence. So this is 5 years later. So, like, they found all this 5 years prior, but I couldn't find anything in the paper about it. But Rossi said he's optimistic that Allison will be able to head him in the right direction. Donna Macho's whereabouts by using the sixth sense, I'm not even going to read the rest of it. All that shit's bullshit. So, not into psychics at all. So that was 1989. Then 1995, Boy Scout leader finds a skeleton. So a Boy Scout troop leader, so 10 years after she went missing, discovered a partially clothed skeleton in dense underbrush just off George Davison Road. So let's see where that is compared to Milestone Road, where her car was found. George Davison Road. Okay, so it's probably, looks like that's Millstone Road again. That's kind of weird. Look at that. Millstone Road. That's bizarre. How could there be another Millstone Road? Like there's one right, not far away at all, but just right next to the same road that George Davison Road is. It's also Millstone Road right there. Yeah, what are the odds of that? So her body was found somewhere off of this road right here. Yeah, we've already talked about that, LM. There was an issue with the driver. Okay, so she was here where she obviously something happened to her from here, and then her body's here, dumped there, and then the car obviously was put here later off of this road. So Middlesex County, she actually was 84 is when she disappeared. Well, then it's your headphones because there isn't any sound like that. A Boy Scout troop leader yesterday discovered a partially clothed skeleton in dense underbrush just off George Davison Road. Hey, thank you very much, the Velvet Army. Appreciate it. Yeah. And times are tough. Middlesex County authorities will try to determine today through dental records whether the remains are those of Donna Macho in East Windsor Township. In February 1984, Macho, 19, a legal secretary who graduated from Heiston High School in 1982, disappeared from her parents' East Windsor apartment. Authorities discovered her abandoned car on the shoulder of Millstone Road, about a mile from the site of yesterday's discovery. You know what's weird? Is that the Millstone Road then? Because now that they say that, I'm actually wondering if it's this Millstone Road. Because now that they say a mile, let's just put a pin right there. Millstone Road ends just right there, and then this all makes more sense based on her home. So let's see if we went, is this generally a mile? Yeah, so that's 2 miles, so you know, if you go to the end, let's say you put her more into those trees that are over there. Let's go back in time a little bit. So 1995, yeah, it's pretty really rural, but that would be a better place to hide somebody. So maybe right here, right? And then if you're going to take that a mile, how far would that go? Let's see, go from here, go up to there, and then right here we're at 1.13. You know, so you're just like right around, you get onto the George Davison Road, starts right at that intersection. So maybe she was found, you know, more in that area. Something like that. Okay? And so there we go. There, she's taken from here, body found there, car dumped here. And maybe they just walked back to their own vehicle, because this isn't far away. It's only about 2 miles all the way back to the house there. Thanks, Billy Juliana and One Sly Angel. Put that on Twitter. Forgot to do that. Hey, thanks, Amber. Move on to the next one. Actually, the next page. Okay, so that was the scout leader, who was alone at the time, returned yesterday morning for a better look at and located another boot. Oh, interesting. While foraging through the area of the dense thickets and brambles less than 50 yards from the road edge, the scout leader spotted a high-heeled boot Saturday evening that was jutting out from a weathered carpet. Wow, okay. It set up a camp a short distance away, found the remains. So these remains were found almost at the exact time of this satellite imagery here. So that's April 1995. And when was this? Wow, this is April 3rd, 1995. What day was it? That's crazy. This is April 15th, 1995. So we're looking at almost exactly what it looked like. And I think this is going to be the spot right here. Right in here. Doesn't that look more like a camping area? I mean, you could see Boy Scouts going in there. Yeah, somewhere off in there. Let me see what this. That's crazy though. That image is literally within 2 weeks of when her body was found. Just a second ago, I saw 360-degree cameras in here. Now I don't see them. Let me try that again. Yeah. There it is, right there. Yeah, you know, maybe somewhere around in here. They were camping, but she was found inside, rolled up inside of a carpet. So while foraging through an area of dense thickets and brambles less than 50 yards from the road, the scout leader spotted a high-heel boot Saturday evening that was jutting out from a weathered carpet. The scout leader, who was alone at the time, returned yesterday morning for a better look and located another boot. This time with a bone inside. Gluck confirmed that along with the remains, woman's boots and a pair of jeans were found. There was no evidence. There was no indication of the body. Well, that's interesting. So that means she was probably undressed. Franklin Township detectives in 1984 discovered blood stains in the upholstery and ceiling of Macho's car. Her family told authorities she was possibly wearing a blue nightgown and a black hooded jacket and boots at the time of her disappearance. So she was actually wearing women's boots and a pair of jeans were found. So maybe somebody made her dress inside the house, or she willingly left, but I would imagine she was probably forced to dress. Medical examiners would likely make the final determination on identity through dental remains. From the condition of the remains they found, they think they can make an identification or at least eliminate her with the use of dental records. Police said they found rings and a chain yesterday. When the initial investigation stalled, investigators used a psychic from Nutley. Yeah, good on them, yeah, I'm sure. Yesterday's discovery was about 100 feet from Cranberry Brook. So that's what that is, right? Isn't that, well, that's Millstone River. What is Cranberry Brook? Is that an actual, like an area? Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess maybe it's a, well, is that a county? So let's try that, hold on. No. Yeah, there's no Cranberry County, anything like that. But it makes you wonder if there's like a Well, see, here's Trenton over here. So maybe Cranberry Brook, whatever it's called that, is like right here. See, I just had a little skip right there in my ears. So I don't know what that means. But it didn't shut down, it didn't change the driver, so that's okay. When the initial investigation stalled, investigators used a psychic. Yesterday's discovery was about 100 feet from the Cranberry Brook and near an old pump house that was recently destroyed. I wonder if you can see that pump house going back to the 1994. It's not clear enough to make that out. Macho's high school friend Christine Gard, who now lives in Utah, recalled her as a beautiful and popular teenager who aspired to be a full-time model. She was striking. Everybody turned their heads, said Gard, whose maiden name is Kane. Macho's modeled part-time, she said. Yeah, all right. And then we go to next day in the paper, and the skeleton was hers, so turned out, you know, the prediction was correct. Skeleton ID, Donna Macho. Investigation of girl's murder renewed. A human skeleton found in Cranberry was identified through dental records yesterday, and the remains of Donna Macho, a 19-year-old East Windsor woman missing since 1984. A Boy Scout troop leader made the discovery in woods bordering George Davison Road, about a mile from where Macho's bloodstained Chrysler was found. While the grisly finding closed the book on a missing person case, it reopens a murder investigation that began after the legal secretary's February 26, 1984 disappearance. Mercer County prosecutor Marianne K. Bilemowitz called the discovery a significant event in the previously stalled 11-year-old investigation. The investigation is in high gear, the prosecutor said. Police did a tremendous job in the beginning, but of course when you don't have a body after some time, and then they actually didn't, the second part of that disappeared. They didn't have it wasn't in the paper that I could find, so that's unfortunate. All right, so then let's see, how am I going to get to this next part? Yeah, then there's this guy named Nathaniel Harvey. Okay, so now we're going to go back to 1978. So she went missing in 84. Then there's this guy named Nathaniel Harvey, 28, of 14 New Street, Jamesburg, was charged with rape of a Monroe woman after he turned himself into Middlesex County Court. Harvey, according to Monroe police, was accompanied by the attorney, William Wright. Police have been searching for a suspect since Monday morning. He is being held in Middlesex County in lieu of a $100,000 bail. The victim told Monroe police a car pulled into the driveway behind her car when she returned home about 9:30 a.m. Monday. The driver, police said, asked her for information about her father's business, and she went into the house to write down the information. The woman told police that as she opened the door to give him the paper, the man forced his way into the house where he assaulted and raped her. Okay, that was October. And then two men accused of rape. Two men accused of raping a woman in separate incidents were indicted yesterday by Middlesex County Grand Jury. The jurors handed up 5 counts of indictment against Nathaniel Harvey, 28, and another individual for a different case. So there you go. Then 1979, rape beating costs 15 to 20 years. A 29-year-old James Rural man convicted of beating and raping a Monroe woman in her home yesterday was sentenced to New Jersey State Prison for 15 to 20 years. And that was Nathaniel Harvey. Okay, but they let him out in like 4 or 5 years. Okay, that's how he got out. So he got out in like 84 or something like that. And then, here he is right here. Bloody footprints led to arrest in a slang. So this is a different case, though. It says a man's watch and a bloody sneaker print were key ingredients in tracking down a suspect in the beating death of a 37-year-old Plainsboro widow last June 16th. He didn't even come close to serving the amount of time he was supposed to. Nathaniel Harvey, 35, of Janesburg, was arraigned yesterday on murder charges in the death of Irene Schnaps, whose body was found in her Hunter's Glen apartment in the Princeton Meadows section of Plainsboro. The victim had been badly beaten with a blunt instrument and had a fractured skull. State Superior Court Judge George J. Nicola ordered Harvey held without bail in the Middlesex County Corrections Center. So they've made an arrest here on another case. In November, rape charge tagged on the man accused of homicide. So an ex-convict accused of murdering a Plainsboro woman was charged yesterday with aggravated sexual assault of another township woman. Thanks, Georgina Stoliker. Nathaniel Harvey, 35, of Janesburg, was charged after the 38-year-old victim pointed him out in a lineup, police said. Okay, so the thing is, on the Facebook page regarding this case, oh man, all of a sudden it's gone. That's interesting. I wonder if was it because I asked her a question? Yeah, because she mentioned this guy, right? So here's the thing. Now I don't remember exactly because it disappeared, but it was a family member of Donna Macho, and she mentioned this individual, Nathaniel Harvey, okay? But when you go through Nathaniel Harvey's court and experiences here, like here he is right here, execution sought for man. Then you know, he got a second trial was granted to him. And then he was found guilty again, and then a third trial was granted to him. And now we're starting to think, you know, you're getting into the Innocence Project situation. You know, you're at a place where, did this guy really have anything to do with anything? All right. So the Supreme Court on Wednesday ruled that a man whose 1986 murder conviction was thrown out deserves the death penalty for beating Plainsboro woman to death. So this is 1997. Harvey now can pursue additional appeals to question whether the death penalty was fair in proportion to his crimes. So he admitted to doing it. In the second trial, prosecutors used DNA evidence to link Harvey to blood found at the murder scene. But what was weird, it was just kind of a vague, you know, it was 1 in 1,400. It wasn't like how you get it now, right? Where it's 1 in 75 septillion, you know. Also, Associate Justice Daniel O'Hearn joined with Handler in dissent, saying the jury in the second trial also received erroneous instructions on whether Harvey had proven intent to kill the victim. Irene Schnaps, 37, lived in a ground floor apartment in the Hunter Glen complex, where a worried co-worker discovered her naked body on the floor of her unlocked home on June 17th. Schnaps died of severe disfiguring head injuries, including a 6-inch gash, and fractured her skull. See, this is another person that he's being accused of killing. Harvey was arrested in neighboring West Windsor a few months later as a suspect in a rash of burglaries, and police in a search of his car found some of Schnapp's possessions. Alright, so that was 1997. Then 2004, death row inmate seeks DNA evidence. So he actually wants the DNA evidence. A death row inmate sentenced for a 1985 murder wants new DNA evidence and an old suspect to overturn his conviction. Nathaniel Harvey is the first death row inmate in New Jersey to try to use DNA testing to prove his innocence. Prosecutors said the requests of Harvey's lawyer, Eric Kleiner, focus on elements of the case that already have been investigated. This case was not a close call. This is not a whodunit, said William Lamb, first assistant Middlesex County prosecutor. Harvey, 54, convicted of killing Irene Schnaps of Plainsboro. Schnaps, 37, whose husband died 6 weeks before she was killed, suffered 15 hatchet blows to the head. Kleiner said new DNA results may point to another man prosecutors had questioned in Schnapp's murder. He also was seeking evidence from an unsolved slaying. So that was 2004. Then 2017, new trial ordered in Plainsboro 1985 murder case. So this guy, now there's another trial ordered for this guy. I mean, it's crazy. So doesn't it sort of feel like, okay, I mean, we're getting to this point. There must have been some shady shit going on the side. I don't know. I mean, I guess why would he want the DNA so strongly if he was completely, guilty? Just shot in the dark, I guess. I don't know. In a 21-page decision issued August 28th, the Appellate Division remanded the case to the Middlesex County Superior Court. Defendant counsel errors were sufficiently serious so as to undermine confidence that defendant trial was fair. Nathaniel Harvey filled a petition for post-conviction relief after twice being convicted for the June 1985 murder of Irene Schnaps. The post-conviction relief court denied Harvey's petition without a hearing, but after granting defendant appeal and motion for additional forensic testing, the Supreme Court remanded the matter for evidentiary hearing and ordered the post-conviction relief court to consider the petition. A hearing was held before Superior Court Judge Stuart L. Peam over 62 days between April 2011 and February 2014. Peam in March 2015 granted Harvey's petition. Irene Schnapp's body was found by a co-worker in her apartment. The unit had no sign of forced entry, but there was evidence of a struggle with the blood stains on the floor, a towel, the mattress, and a box spring and cardboard box peeking out from under the bed. Schnapp suffered severe wounds, probably to her head. That was another one where I didn't have the second page. And then former death row inmate dies in New Jersey. He died innocent, attorney says. So this is one of those ones I guess we'll never know. At least he wasn't executed, but he served all those years. What if he didn't do it, right? So, I mean, Nathaniel Harvey admitted to other crimes. He told authorities he committed the robberies and burglaries around Middlesex County in the 1980s that would put him behind bars for more than 60 years, but there is one crime he never admitted he did, and he was willing to be executed rather than to admit to it and accept a plea deal. So he could have accepted a plea deal, but he wouldn't admit to it. Harvey would maintain his innocence throughout his incarceration, but it will not be proven in court. He died last week in New Jersey State Prison at the age of 70, according to state prison records. All right, so that was for Schnapp, but see, a family member suggested that he had something to do with it. However, Nathaniel Harvey would often mention this other guy that was a neighbor. Okay, so that's the thing, is now we move open. I'm going to open up these documents, or newspaper articles, and look at this one's from 1985. So this 37-year-old widow found dead at home. I guess that might be a different one, but let's see. So it says the body of Irene Zinderman Schnapp was found at 5 p.m. yesterday by a fellow employee of the Arcia Corporation in Forrestal Center, Princeton. The employee had gone to Schnapp's 2307 Hunter Glen Drive home when the woman failed to come to work, according to the prosecutor. Investigators are withholding the name of the coworker because he is part of the investigation. Her husband, Frederick, 43, died April 5th of cancer, according to Rockoff, who said investigators do not have a motive in Schnapp's death. Interest not known. Investigators did not know. Oh, there goes. I just heard it do something there. Investigators did not know how the co-workers obtained entrance to the victim's home. A neighbor, Peter Stowwasser, who befriended Schnapp's after her husband's death, said he had spoken to the victim at 11 p.m. Sunday. So that guy right here, Peter Stowwasser, that's the neighbor here of the Schnapp's girl. And it's pretty bizarre, the stuff there is on this guy. So this was the neighbor, and let's see, hold on. Harvey always said it was the neighbor, it wasn't me, you know, like he somehow knew it was that person. I don't know how, but Stowwasser said Schnapp's had taken. So here's the thing, is that she was a little obsessed about her husband's death, Stowwasser said. I mean, that's kind of weird, right? Like, you know, a neighbor, Peter Stowwasser, who befriended Schnapp's after her husband's death, said he had spoken to the victim at 11 p.m. Sunday. She was a little obsessed about her husband's death. Well, what does that even mean? Well, yeah. Stowwasser said basically that was all that was on her mind. Well, yeah, because her husband died, right? Stowwasser said Schnapp's had taken very good care of. This is way back then when this happened. Stowwasser said Schnapp's had taken very good care of her husband for 4 years while he was ill. She obtained her job as a secretary after the death of her husband. Schnapp's had 4 stepdaughters who lived in Monmouth Junction. All right, then I'm going to go to the 2005, 20 years later. Shoot, do I have to do this? Oh, crap. Let me try that again. Hold on a second. Do I have it? Here, hold on, I'm going to use this other page over here. Yeah, doesn't work. Hold on, let me try this again. Ah, I got it. There we go. Miracles, a miracle. All right. Well, you guys, right now we're about 40% again of normal night. Used to be. I don't know what a normal night is anymore. No idea. So here it is. Let's see what we got in here. A 37-year-old widow was found dead on June. Let me type this guy's name in here. Let me see if I can. Yeah, right here. So Miss Schnapp's body was found by a worried co-worker who went to her apartment in a development. Oh shoot, this is going to be, it's going to cut over. A neighbor gathered, as neighbors gathered, a man from the next building named Peter Stowwasser volunteered to police that he saw Miss Schnapp's often. Isn't that weird? See, he told the police, yeah, I see her all the time. 41 and divorced, said that he had asked her out So he actually asked her out and said, oh yeah, he's obsessed, you know. He's obsessed with that. Huh? I don't get what's funny about the opposite of rock on. I just, what's the humor value there? Was it in response to somebody else, or just tell me it was something? His name is Rock Off. Oh, I get it. Rock Off. I see. His name is Rock Off. That sounds rude. No. It's not his name. Alright, so I mean this guy is interesting here. I gotta tell you. See, look at that. He's 41 and divorced. Said that he had asked her out, but that she said she was not interested in a sexual relationship so soon after her husband's death. So then, now doesn't that make sense where he was like, oh, she's just too into her husband's death. I mean, just obsessed with it. He told her he would wait. He told the police that they went out for Chinese food the week before she died. So he's like letting him know that, man, there might be a reason you might find some of my, DNA or something around. Thanks, Plato. From Miss Schnapp's friend, from Mrs. Schnapp's friend, the police learned that a neighbor named Pete was constantly at her door. Yeah, and that's this guy, right? Wow. Okay. This is interesting. Alright, so the guy named Pete was constantly at her door, and on her calendar, which served as a diary of sorts, the name Pete appeared often. The next to last reference on May 18th said, turn Pete down. So she said she turned Pete down. A week later she wrote, party with Pete. The police also learned that Mr. Stowwasser had served time in jail for stalking and threatening a girlfriend. Mr. Stowwasser told the police he was home Saturday night and did laundry Sunday morning. Then talked to Miss Schnapp's. This is the other, well, this isn't even about Macho that we're talking about. On the phone, they did not they had not disclosed the time of death, and suspicious of the discrepancy, asked him to take a polygraph. So Sunday morning, then talked to Mrs. Schnapp's on the phone. Okay. He failed many questions, including the crucial one, did you murder Irene? Investigators then got a search warrant and took a quilt that appeared to contain bloodstains from his apartment. From his car, they took a pair of white work gloves and a metal strip, both with small reddish spots. So they did this way back then, but somehow focused in on that other guy. Tests of Mrs. Stowwasser's quilt found human blood. Hairs were retrieved from his quilt too and examined along with hairs collected from Miss Schnapp's bedroom. The lab concluded that all of the hairs appeared to match the victims. In some ways, though, the evidence was not adding up. The shoe print was too small for Mr. Stowwasser's size 12 foot. Lab reports on the gloves and metal strip from his car said blood was not detected. It's hard to tell exactly what the investigators knew in the fall of 1985 because many of the laboratory notes and worksheets are missing. At some point, an expert told prosecutors the shoe print was probably made by pony sneakers, and while all the hair collected from the murder scene was originally designated Caucasian, a lab worker added this line and one black hair. The date was not noted. The police found Mr. Harvey on October 28th fleeing from a series of burglaries, and in the course of one of them, the attempted kidnapping of a 13-year-old girl. Mr. Harvey, 34, was the answer to a string of unsolved break-ins. The short, stocky black man described by several homeowners as he quickly admitted these. He was also wearing pony sneakers and a small size. His criminal record included a sexual assault, and after more questioning, he admitted to a recent unsolved rape. Mr. Harvey insisted they had nothing to do with Snap's murder. I've been thinking a little while here, and all my life I never killed any time. He told detectives as he twisted in his chair against the tight handcuffs. Anyway, so this is where they're introducing him in that article right there. Then in 2018, this is an article in the Courier News. So Kleiner also contended investigators didn't sufficiently probe Schnapp's neighbor Peter Stowwasser, who had previous stalking conviction and admitted Schnapp's had rebuffed his romantic advances. At Harvey's second trial, the prosecution told jurors that Stowwasser had been eliminated as a suspect because he'd passed a polygraph test, but the test had actually revealed Stowwasser had been deceptive in his responses. An appeals court wrote last year when it held the reversal of Harvey's conviction. Defense attorneys weren't given that evidence and didn't ask for it. A judge who ruled in favor of Harvey in 2015 wrote. I mean, that would be pretty, important. Blood and hair samples also could connect Stowwasser to Snap. Kleiner allegedly was, but weren't adequately investigated. Kleiner said he also found evidence that Stowwasser knew another local woman, Donna Macho. How crazy is that, you guys? So here's how it all gets brought back. I mean, how crazy is that? So Stowwasser, blood and hair samples also could connect Stowwasser to Schnapp's, Kleiner alleges, but weren't adequately investigated. Kleiner said he also found evidence that Stowwasser knew another local woman, Donna Macho, whose body was found in 1984 in a field not far from where Schnapp's lived. Stowwasser, who died in 2011, denied any involvement in the Schnapp's murder in interviews with 2 newspapers in 2005. Wow. I mean, man, I think they might have been, that might have been the one. Now, in that Facebook, did I do a screenshot of that? No, God, that's too bad. In that Facebook post, it talked about how they, in 2013, got DNA and they knew who the killer was, but then they never told anybody. Like, and that's, I don't know. It's pretty weird. So here is this is from, it was updated January 11, 2022, but originally from 2015. All right. So it was a crime that shocked Plainsboro and nearby towns, and also sent shivers through the young community living in Hunter Glen apartment complex. In 1985, Irene Schnapp's 37 years old and recently widowed, was found dead in her apartment with more than a dozen blows to the head from a hatchet. At the time, Plainsboro and surrounding area were troubled by a series of burglaries as well as several rapes. Many law enforcement officials believe Nathaniel Harvey was responsible for most of the crimes, and he was convicted 2 separate times for Schnapp's grisly murder. However, Nathaniel Harvey has gotten both verdicts reversed. A 1986 murder conviction was overturned in 1990, and the state Supreme Court ruled police extracted a confession from Harvey without properly informing him of his Miranda rights. He was retried and convicted in 1994. In the most recent twist, the 1994 conviction, originally a death sentence, was overturned by a state Superior Court judge last month. The judge ruled Harvey received inadequate legal assistance in the early 1990s. Harvey, 65, will still serve out a 70-year sentence from a separate charge. His 1994 death sentence was reduced to life in prison without parole after the state abolished capital punishment in 2007. Defense attorney for Harvey claimed DNA evidence connecting Harvey to the murder was flawed, and they have maintained that the real culprit is one of Schnapp's neighbor, Peter Stowwasser, who died in 2011. In addition, the defense attorney are building a case connecting Stowwasser with the February 1984 disappearance of Donna Macho, 19, from the basement of her East Windsor home. Macho disappeared 16 months before Schnapp's murder, and her body was discovered in 1995, a mile away from Schnapp's crime scene. In 2005, the news interviewed Stowwasser, then living in Hightstown, as well as several law enforcement officers involved in the case who were convinced of Harvey's guilt. After Stowwasser was mentioned in a New York Times article that local police officials say was biased in favor of Harvey, who was then on death row, Stowwasser spoke to news to clear his name. He said, "I had nothing to do with her murder, and my wife right now is on my back constantly because of this situation. I think this whole thing stinks. They're trying to get Harvey off death row by involving me, and it's not fair," Stowwasser said in 2005. "I want this to go away. I don't need this 20 years later to come up on me all of a sudden." In the mid-1980s, let's see, yeah. In the mid-1980s, the Princeton Meadows neighborhood was a popular spot for young professionals and singles. Stowwasser and Schnapp's both lived in Hunter Glen development, and Stowwasser's 41 and divorced told the news he befriended his recently widowed neighbor in the hope of developing a romantic relationship. The two never dated, and after Schnapp's murder, police obtained a search warrant to investigate Stowwasser's apartment. A quilt with blood stains was taken from his apartment, and hairs from the quilt appeared to match Schnapp's hair. The Middlesex prosecutor police took him into questioning. According to Harvey's defense attorney, Stowwasser failed a lie detector test. Now let's see. I want to see if it keeps bringing him up. So anyways, the case isn't solved. So I guess after that it just goes away. He was a suspect in large part because his shoe size, he was dropped as a suspect. He had a size 12 while a bloody size 6 footprint was found at the crime scene. Well, that kind of makes sense, right? It's hard to, like, would he bring in a small shoe? Yeah. All right. Man, I'm almost thinking of firing up the old days, the Apple thing. Do we still have that? Man, this is brutal. Does that still work? Let me see. Does this work? Oh. I don't think it has the sound effect anymore. It used to go... It stopped streaming. I don't know if I clicked the button or what, but... Yeah. Let me know if you can hear me. Thanks, the Velvet Army. Hello! Can anybody see me? Yeah, I think it wasn't the computer. The computer's a good computer. I just hit the stop streaming button on accident. So how long ago did it stop? Can you tell me the last thing you guys heard? I think I accidentally hit the stop streaming button. I mean, well, hold on, I'll show you. Does it work if I go? No, that doesn't work. Let me go to the middle monitor. Yeah, see over here, this button right there? That button right there, I think I hit that and it just stopped. So you guys are all typing in, and I'm sitting there yelling at you guys because you're all saying, "He's got a lemon, he's got a lemon." And everybody's like, "Oh, I feared you had that." And then I was... So that was it? Just one bite out of the apple and it just quit streaming? That was, I mean, how long was the apple up on the screen for you guys? That's hilarious. Oh man, that's wild. I was sitting there talking to you guys the whole time. Yeah, wow. And then I looked down, I was just trying to, I go, I must not even be on the air because of what people are saying. I was saying how the Apple, you know, well, never mind. So now it makes sense what Plato said. It didn't make sense to me at all. I was like, I'm still talking and communicating. I was talking to Plato. I said, Plato, what does that even mean? Your computer has one job. And I'm sitting there going, what the hell are you talking about? And then I look down and I see, oh wow, I'm not even streaming right now. Yeah, that's because I hit the stop streaming button on accident. There was nothing. It was just me behind the Apple. You know, that was it. There, we can play it out if you want. Let's see. All right, we'll play it out. This is hilarious. That's so weird. I thought it was like that I was on that whole time. Bizarre. Hey, thanks, Nick. Don't you love this, Paulette? Yes, the chat did run amok. See, this is where I went through all of this, and I was talking to you guys, and none of you were... that was bizarre. None of you were like, hey, he got disconnected. It was all just, your computer had one job, and one job only. You must be quite a bit behind, Jen. I think Gen H is on rewind mode. Well, I was just behind it that time because you know what it, Zozo? Because I had nothing behind it. And then you said that, and I said, well, shit, I got to put something behind it. Here, you know what? Let me try to get my, the other camera to work that does the dogs. Hold on a second. All right. Let's try to get some, get this going here. It's kind of interesting. Let me try to do it. Hold on. Might be a minute. You know, talk amongst yourselves. All right. I'm gonna try to get this to work. So where is it? Is that it right there? No. I don't think it started yet. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, alright. Alright, let me turn this on here. Oops. There we go. Alright, so is that gonna... Yeah, look at that. There it is. Woo! See, here's the board right there. See that? Wait, you guys can't see it. Hold on. Hold on. Oh yeah, you can. That's the main. So this is the board right here. See, there you go. Awesome, man. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna get the. Can you see that? She just got a bath just now. Oh, jeez. All right. Hey, that worked a little bit, I think. So I wonder if there's a way. Let me try to add her to this. Scene. Oops. It's called the Samsung Old. There you go. Just a second. Come on, Chloe. Oh yeah. Looks like a rat at that point. Oh yeah. You know what's fun is watching them when they dry themselves. How they get under the towels and wiggle around. Blue should be coming out here pretty soon. Alright, we get back some of the normalcy now. Get the... Yeah, this time I used the actual NDI source. It's pretty cool. You know, it's weird. As long as you have network access, you can have as many cameras as you wanted. And phones are good. It's crazy. That was so weird, you guys, though, when the Apple thing wasn't working. Because I was sitting there talking to you guys. You know? And you guys are looking at nothing. Like it's just a buffering sea of madness, you know. So is this a whole different show now? Because it says I'm only streaming for 11 minutes. I guess it's been 11 minutes since I restarted it. But I think it made it back to the original stream, right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was staring at the Apple, and it was weird because Plato said something like, you know, about my computer, and then somebody else said, it sounds like you got a lemon, and blah, 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 blah. No, I think I've got everything fixed now. I mean, if you notice, we haven't really had the audio issue pretty much the whole show, other than a couple times where it cut out, but it always did a little, you know, every once in a while it would have something like that, but, you know, I haven't seen it switch drivers on me. Like mid-show, like it's done 1,000 times. Let me try one thing here. If you go to Device Manager, you can, if you hit the scan for hardware changes. Nope, see, it didn't activate that. Normally, a lot of times it'll go into the mode where it zooms open and then it tells you that it's shifted drivers. Yeah, so I think right now we're back to the normal, like it's not going to have a lot of problems. There you go. Yeah. Chloe. She does look like a rat right now, doesn't she? I get nervous putting her outside now because we had an owl like going ooh, ooh, you know, the other night above the house somewhere, and yeah, she could easily be taken out by you know, what is it, the great horn or bighorn owl or whatever the hell it's called. But well, Blue's getting a bath, so I thought I'd wait until he comes out because he's fun to watch. He turns into a nut job. Yeah, you think, yeah, she looks mad, huh? Yeah, so anyways, we got a PDF file in the Brownstown case in Indiana, the fire of 3. So I thought we'd go over that. Does everybody remember that one pretty well? The fire that burnt the cabin. Some weird stories, you know, like the lady, one of the sisters' husband got crushed by a car. All kinds of weirdness. And then apparently maybe possibly witnesses to the car ended up being killed in the fire. A lot of strange stuff. Yeah, well, Blue will be out here in a minute. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen Jay Case in a long time. Have you guys? Hey, thanks, Sozo. What happened to Jay Case? We used to do Jay Case Vision.
Chewbacca?
I'll do Chewbacca.
Thanks, Sozo. I appreciate that. All right, everybody, jump on the train. Ah, forget it. Yeah. I'm just waiting for Blue to come out. Come on, Chloe. She doesn't mind her bath. She just sits in there. She's really got a really confident dog. You know, she doesn't really care about anything. Yeah, she just rolls with the punches, you know. Just you hold her up. Did you hear Gray? He said he punches his dog. No, I said he rolls. Ah, forget it. I did see those. I actually was keeping track of them too when they came in. So yeah, thanks to WNC Granny. And then there was a the Velvet Army. I think there was a couple that came in. You know, I forgot that you didn't hear me because I was actually thanking you as they were happening, but apparently I wasn't even on the show for 5 minutes. Yeah, I don't know where Dreaming Girl is or anybody. It just seemed like a lot of people are they just disappeared, you know. be cool to get everybody back, you know, the same crew. You know, I always think it's odd when I start the show and I have 74,889 subs, and then before the show even starts, it goes down to 74,885. And what was it, because you got a notification and it didn't say Dylan Rounds in it? Is that what happened? Oh, okay. I thought this guy, he just covered Dylan Rounds. Okay. Yeah, I see. I haven't seen Charles O in a long time, but I've seen, you know, Mag's around. She's just been busy with family stuff, and she pops in here and there. Thanks, Ink29. I don't know where a lot of people are. I think it's just there's so many YouTube channels now, though. It's like everybody pops up. You know, Tom, Dick, and Harry create a YouTube channel. And, you know, I guess that's good or whatever, but it just, unless you're one of the ones that's, you know, caves into, you know, milking a case, you get just killed. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of people like the milked cases because they're lazy mentally and they don't want to start anything new, so they just keep going on. You know, it's the same case. You know, where they can just every day just show up, you know, settle in. Hey, Carrie, how's it going? You know, hey, what's going on? Yeah. Not because there's nothing new, so it's just sort of a hangout place with all these people that know the same case. Yeah. I did email the mother earlier, and what did she say? Oh, hey, thanks, Dan Carr. Dan Carr with a PayPal or whatever you call it. I think it was on Streamlabs, right? She said, I said, how's it going? She said, it's going. I'm beyond stressed and distraught at this point.
Where has the time gone? Proud to be a member.
And
Life has
then,
been crazy, but will always be a supporter.
hey, thank you very much. Ink29. All right. Owen. Wow. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Just kind of waiting for Blue. I don't know where Blue is. And then we'll get on to that last part. Yeah. What the heck is this?
Huh?
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca?
Oh, I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
What the heck is this?
Oh, I knew.
It's a house!
Yeah. So in general, though, the audio's works about the same tonight as it normally does, right? Or it used to. So I think that's a good first step, I guess. It was just after I updated, you know, the other computer, I had never updated the driver for the Yamaha, but when I got the new computer, they just put one out in this year, and so that's the one that screwed it up. So I actually think that if I put that driver on my last computer, it still would have had an error. Yeah, it's not that often though, right? It's like only about twice this show, Alifair. I've heard it in my own ears. It drop out twice. Oh, here comes Blue. Let's see. Yeah, go put it wherever you want it. My wife's like, hey, should I move the... I don't know what she's saying, but... It was on there. All right, let's see. Go ahead. Here comes Blue. Chloe's waiting for Blue. Look, hey, where's Blue? I'll put both the towels on there so we can watch him do his weird. No, up on there. Yeah, well, we'll go wherever the towel is because he's. Oh, he's going somewhere else. Is he rubbing somewhere else? Yeah. He like buries himself in the towel. Oh well. Oh, there they go. Arrgh. Get it, Blue, get it. So he doesn't want to bury it, wiggle around his nose in there? Oh, now they think there's food coming. Oh, boy. Okay. Anyways. Well, that's all I got. That's all we got, you guys. So what do you guys think in that last case? Do you guys think it's that Stowwasser guy, whatever the hell his name is? Yeah, Stowwasser or Nathaniel Harvey? I mean, that guy is interesting. That he asked her out. She didn't go out on the dates with him. You know, they wouldn't have sex with him. And she was saying, oh, you know, like really callous kind of comments about, oh yeah, she's just obsessed with her husband dying. You know, that was a kind of a creepy guy, you know. Hey, hold on a second. You're mean, Chloe. You're mean. Chloe's mean. That's all there is to it. Yeah, Chloe's mean, you gotta admit. She's not very nice. Got all toys all over the place. Alright. Wow. Oh man. Uh-oh. She's going nuts. Yeah, they got a lot of toys. You guys always say, hey, here's some money, buy a toy. And then there it is. Too many. Come here, Chloe. Come here. She won't do it. Yeah, she's got a lot of energy. So does anybody need to go over any of the the Brownstown case? Probably if I brought it up on a map. Yeah, right there. In Indiana. Small little town there. Well, that's not the one. Jeez. How'd that get over there? Let me get rid of that thing. So you guys remember this one where, God, it's like before they all went to this cabin. They were at a wedding for one of the sisters of one of the guys, and her husband had died like 2 or 3 months prior by being crushed underneath a vehicle. And you know, apparently, I don't know. I don't really know. You know, I don't know the inside information on that, but the cabin was right back here in this little string of woods here, and it was made out of railroad ties. And when they went to the cabin, apparently there was actually 5 boys there. 2 of them left earlier, and the last one said when like he left, there was a car that was parked right in front of the door, but and then after the cabin burned down, the car had been moved and was on the back side of the cabin. And after the cabin burned down, there was 3 boys in the cabin. 2 of them, they found the class rings apparently of 2 of them, and they assigned them to 2 of the boys, but one of the other parents said, well, how do you know that wasn't my kid? And they really only identified these people based on the ring location. And the thing is you know, so just now they're going to be exhuming the bodies. Let me see. Do I've got the sheriff was going to send me articles when he got them, but it doesn't look like he's got them yet. He was actually on the news, so. So these are the investigative notes, I guess. Apparently, it's like 9 pages. So this is the kind of stuff I really like right here. Yeah, we've been talking to him for a month or so about it, the bones, for a long time. All right, so sometime during 2020 and 2021, I spoke with Sheriff Rick Meyer about a cold case from 1971. Yeah, and so we covered this case a couple different times, and he contacted me, the sheriff, and he was like, wow, you got a lot of stuff I didn't really have in there. And he kind of seemed like it got him more excited about it, and we've been communicating back and forth. Yeah, this is December 18th, 1971. Sometime during 2020 and 2021. I think it's been like 3 or 4 months, probably. I don't care. Are you trying to plug your channel, or I'm not sure what you're doing? What do you mean you shared it in 2021? Sometimes during 2020 and 2021, I spoke with Sheriff Rick Meyer about a cold case from 1971. The case involved 3 teenagers, Stanley R. Robinson, 17, Jerry Autry, 19, and Michael W. Sewell. And these are right here. So this is the kid that's missing still. See, some people think he exited the cabin, maybe it has something to do with how they all burned. And it could just be that he was completely incinerated in the fire, or he's one of the other 2 bodies and one of these 2 guys left. They just assumed who it was. Yeah. I don't even know what you're referring to. All right, so that's the pictures. Those are the pictures of the individuals. So let me get to the other part here. Let's just go through this. So the case involved 3 teenagers, Stanley Robinson, Jerry Autry, and Michael Sewell. All 3 teens were friends and attended Brownstown Central High School. The teens built a small cabin out of railroad ties on the Robeson property to hang out and camp in. On Friday, December 17, 1971, the three boys and several other kids went to the cabin to hang out. Just prior, though, that they were at a wedding. The night ended with Robinson, Autry, and Sewell being the only three left at the cabin to camp out. In the early morning hours of Saturday, December 18, 1971, the cabin caught fire. Robeson and Autry were believed to have been killed in the fire, but the only means of identification was made through class rings. It is also believed that Sewell escaped the fire and left the scene on foot. 51 years later, Sewell has never been located. The homemade cabin was located south of Brownstown on the west side of SR 135. And so again, it was kind of cool because we actually, through newspaper articles, came up with this position right here. And that turns out that's right where it was. Right in this little wooded area right here. Let's see. So on Friday, the boys and several other kids went to the cabin. The night ended with Robeson, Autry, and Sewell being the only three left at the cabin. The homemade cabin was located south of Brownstown on the west side of SR 135. The nearest address to the cabin site, I wish they put that in there. The cabin sat approximately 1,300 feet northwest of this address. The Jackson, let's see. And I think that's northwest. I think it's this one. Let me just see. Yeah, I mean that's 1,300 right there. So that's probably the property, and that's the nearest property. Although there's something over here. And I think there's a pond in here, if I remember right. Yeah, right there. See, and they checked that pond. Oh, there goes the audio. Just went, but it didn't change drivers over here though, so that's good. Jackson County Sheriff's Department was the initial responding agency on December 18, 1971. Later the same day, the Indiana State Police were requested to assist with the investigation. The coroner and fire marshal also assisted. Other than speaking with Sheriff Meyer about the case, I had heard about it for many years through people in the community, including past Sheriff Mark Larman, or Lehrman maybe. The Lehrman property connects to the property where the incident took place, and Mark remembered the incident happening close to his residence. Mark and I have talked a few times recently about the case as I've tried gaining more information. While initially talking to Sheriff Meyer about the case, he mentioned the phone call he received from so-and-so, and that's the sister of Stanley Robeson. She wanted to know if the Sheriff's Department could look at the case and try to find some answers the families involved have had for over 50 years. I advised Sheriff Meyer I would be willing and interested in taking a deeper look into the incident to see what information could be obtained from the state police records, past officers involved in the case, and the family and friends of the three teens. I spent some time for the next several months trying to gather what information I could from old newspaper articles and other informations, and watching Grant Hughes just kidding, it doesn't say that. But we got all the old newspaper articles. I would take information I learned to people such as Mark Lehrman and ask what they remembered about it. When I had gathered as much information I could online, I reached out to Detective Roger Drew with the Indiana State Police. I told Detective Drew that I had been looking into the case to help find answers for the families involved. Detective Drew checked with the records department and sent me the state. When did we do this last? Does anybody, can you get me a date? When did we cover this? Was that in 2021, like late 2021? It seems more like it was like February or something. That's what my brain's remembering. I don't know, LM said. She said, shall I piss the entire freak family by saying some bullshit where everyone gets really mad and donates? Or could we all just send a PayPal, whatever it is, and let GH know each day matters? Well, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. You are pretty good at the first part there, I tell you. What did I say that you're saying yes, do it to? Nah, I think it was like February, if I remember right. So I remember it was before CrimeCon, right? So let me do this. Let me do Gray Hughes investigates Brownstown. Nah, maybe it was. No, we did one 5 months ago, and one 2 months ago. Yeah, so but the main one, okay, so there's actually two of them. That's wild. So there's one 5 months ago that says more on the Brownstown mystery fire. Then there's one that I think specifically was for it 5 months ago. So that must have been January or February, something like that. Yeah, but the 5 months ago one was the first one where he contacted me. And then 2 months ago, I think, is when we covered it again after he contacted me. Just so everybody would remember it. All right. But thanks, LM. That was a nice thought. Oh, he did send me just now. Adam Nicholson, the sheriff, just sent me a story. So let's see what this says in it. Come on. Yes, that's what we talked about. I actually talked to him while I was driving from Las Vegas or back or something. So he might actually come on my show here in the next few days. Would you guys be interested in that? Well, there you go. All right. Very cool. I'll get out of there. All right. And I think he's the one writing this, actually. So Adam Nicholson, I think he wrote this document right here. So while initially talking to Sheriff Meyer about the case, he mentioned a phone call he received from the sister of Stanley Robeson. She wanted to know if the sheriff's department could look at the case and try to find some answers the family involved have had for over 50 years. I spent some time over the next several months trying to gather what information I could from old newspaper articles and other informations found online. I would take information I learned to people such as Mark Lehrman and ask what they remembered about it. When I had gathered as much information as I could online, I reached out to Detective Roger Drew with the Indiana State Police. I told Detective Drew that I had been looking into the case to help find answers for the families involved. Detective Drew checked with the records department and sent me to the state police files, or he sent me the state police files on the case. The files included reports from Trooper R.T. Acton, Trooper Mickey Hudson, Sergeant Richard Barker, and Sergeant Jim Blevins. There were also lab reports, witness statements, coroner verdict, and autopsy report. I was unable to locate any records from the sheriff's department. I checked the area where old files are kept and found nothing older than 1986. I also checked the courthouse attic and basement for any other county records and found none. I reached out to the Winklepleck Wiesner Funeral Home to see if they had any type of records. They were able to provide the coroner's inquest and autopsy report, which was already in the state police file. The funeral home also provided the obituaries for Robeson and Autry, and I scanned those into this case file. On or around Saturday, April 23rd, 2022, I reached out to so-and-so about the case for the first time. I explained to her, it's probably that same sister, that I had been researching the case and had been interested in trying to help find some answers. She agreed to meet me and talk about what she remembered. I met her at her residence and showed her the newspaper articles I had located, and we talked about them. She would like to see this case opened back up and investigated to find out what happened to her brother and the other two that were with him. I asked her if she was willing to provide a DNA to compare with the remains found in the burnt cabin, and she advised she would be willing to do that. And I talked for a while about the case, and I told her to stay in contact, and I would do the same. I mean, he's really good at keeping in contact. I mean, he out of the blue gets a hold of me, sends me stuff like letting me know. I mean, he's a really cool guy. I wish more sheriffs and investigators, he won't tell you stuff that you can't know, but I mean, you can see how he redacted here. But he's really good at communicating. So I met with her at her residence April 25th. I showed the newspaper articles. Okay, so on Tuesday, April 26, 2022, I contacted something through Facebook page I found online. The Facebook page name is 1971 Valonia Cabin Fire. Is the sister of Jerry Autry. Let's see. She agreed to meet me to discuss the case and advised she would bring her other sister, and I set up an appointment to meet on Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. On Wednesday, April 27, 2022, she contacted me to see if I wanted to go to the cabin site to look around. That's funny because I talked to him right then. Isn't that when CrimeCon was? Like right here? Because he called me on the phone and went, yeah, I was just out there. Man, I even still found like a stove or, something. I don't remember what it was. When we arrived, we parked on the property located, was outside. She was outside, and she and I spoke with her. She and I spoke with her. Oh, so it was somebody else. So they advised she lived at the same address when the incident took place, and she remembered it well. So this neighbor advised she remembered that being in Brownstown High School basketball game on Friday, December 17th, 1971. After the game, she advised that several vehicles drove past her house and went to the cabin. She advised she'd seen approximately 12 vehicles, back at the cabin site on the evening of the 17th. That sounds like a party. She advised that she told her husband about the cars and mentioned to him they must be having a party. She advised she went to bed, and when she woke up, she seen police and fire vehicles. That's totally Indiana, that scene thing. Out of the cabin. Advised a little later, she seen the coroner's vehicle drive past her house and go back to the cabin as well. She advised after the fire and police personnel, she remembered several kids going back to the cabin to look around. She and I then walked to the cabin site so she could show me where the cabin stood. I took photographs of the area and items that were still present from the cabin. The wood stove was still at the site and still identifiable from the pictures. I had seen the newspaper articles. I also located the bottom portion of a Coleman-style lantern, shade of a lantern, metal roofing, pieces of burnt wood, daybed frame, bed springs. I also noticed concrete blocks in the ground laid out in an area approximately 9 by 15. The cabin was reported to be made of railroad ties and measured 9 by 15. The state police, so it's kind of still there, like the base and everything. The state police reports refer to the cabin fire being started by a Coleman lantern. The reports also indicate human remains were located on the bed springs. The condition of the area where the cabin sat. Doesn't anybody else find it weird that they found their bodies on the bed springs? Like the actual beds? I mean, he was totally asleep and passed out from smoke. Normally you'd wake up, start coughing, trying to get the hell out, pound on the doors, and you'd probably be located huddled up next to the door trying to get out, but you burned to death. Instead, they're both sitting on the mattresses. Like there's remains on 2 different mattresses. Doesn't that bother anybody? Because it does me. That doesn't even make sense to me. Like, oh yeah, well, it's really smoky and it's really hot. I'm going to go back to bed. Let me go lay down for a little bit. Yeah, so something happened to him prior. Now, you might say, well, they were just really wasted. But, I mean, come on. I mean, when you start choking on stuff, coughing, you wake up and you move. You're trying to get out now. You see the flames, whatever. So something's up with that, if you ask me. The condition of the area where the cabin sat is remarkably similar to the reports and photos I've obtained. She advised she would be willing to let our department take a close look at the site to see if anything could be unearthed that was missed during the initial investigation. Yeah, so you can get some forensic anthropologists out there. I mean, literally just go through that whole area. I mean, really slowly, brushing stuff away, get everything dialed in. One item mentioned in the state police report as not being found in the cabin fire is a belt buckle of a particular design. Sewell was reported to have been wearing the belt buckle. It also possible more human remains could be located at the site. The state police report and the coroner's verdict indicate some bones were located at the site. The bones were mainly pelvic, femur, and spinal. No teeth are mentioned in the state police or coroner's report. That seems kind of odd. However, the coroner at the time, Victor Burkholder, is quoted in a newspaper article as saying 4 to 5 teeth were recovered. The final verdict from the coroner is that only the remains of 2 individuals were located. Man, don't you love having these files? I mean, it's just, I don't know if it's like way more. Maybe it'll get into a narrative of the night or something later. Who knows. On April 29, 2022, I contacted the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office in California through the mail. I contacted them about a message we received on our Sheriff's Department Facebook page on April 1st, 2022. The message was a link to an unidentified person case from 1978. The unidentified person was found deceased in Long Beach, California on June 3, 1978. The description of the deceased was of a male that's 5'7", 130 pounds, hazel eyes, brown hair, age range 15 to 19 years old. Sewell had just turned 16 on August 16, 1971. So he would have been 23 years old on June 3rd, 1978. Well, he was it like a completely non-skeletonized body? Complete body, I guess. The other descriptions giving of the deceased are very similar. Sewell's description from his driver's license inquiry from 1971 was 5'5", 130, green eyes, brown hair. The link also provided a facial reconstruction composite that looks similar to Sewell. The LA County Coroner's Office called me at the Sheriff's Department later the same day. They wanted to know if I had anything to identify Sewell. Oh, man. So they need to get family relatives, compare it to that doe. The LA County Coroner's Office advised they had DNA and fingerprints of the deceased person that could be compared. Their suggestion was to see if, there you go, a family member of Sewell. You know what do you even need these articles for, right? You could just, of Sewell would provide DNA to us that could be sent into NamUs, the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, to be compared to unidentified person. They also sent me a direct link to the unidentified person information. In that link, there are actual photos of the deceased person. The LA County Coroner's Office advised the link information and photos are public information and available to the public for view, so there was no issue in showing the photos to family or friends who knew Sewell. On May 3rd, the sister of Autry came to speak with me. They advised they had been in contact with so-and-so recently. He's mentioned in the state police reports as being friends to the three boys, so that's a he, and with them at the cabin the night of the incident. Wow, that's interesting. So they've contacted one of the other boys that was there. The Autrys gave me a description of what he described about the incident. From what I could gather, he seemed traumatized by the incident. He and so-and-so advised that he told them no drugs were involved, and he left the cabin and was home on Friday, December 17, 1971 by 11 o'clock. That description is not consistent with the two statements obtained in 1971 from the state police reports. 51 years have gone by, and it's understandable things can be forgotten. However, the details in the statements given by him in 1971 are very detailed. The details include places the boys went before going to the cabin, leaving the cabin to go get alcohol, food, and personal items, who was at the cabin, what time certain people arrived at the cabin, what drugs were used at the cabin, things he saw at the cabin, what the exact time was when he passed the courthouse clock on his way to the cabin, what time a girl had to be home that he was hanging out with, etc. He could be traumatized by the incident, but it doesn't seem logical for him not to remember if drugs were used and to say he was home by 11 o'clock. There's also another statement from another person who was at the cabin prior to the incident with the three boys, and the statement advises he arrived home at 2:30 a.m. on December 18, 1971. The statement from that person advises his parents were upset about the time he arrived home. He advises in the statement that when he left the cabin, he was also talking about leaving. When he left the cabin, he was also talking about cabin. So-and-so, like Joe, was also talking about leaving. He mentions while he was driving away from the cabin, he never heard Joe's car start up or see Joe's headlights in his mirror. Statement advises Joe, Jerry, Stanley, and Mike were all still at the cabin when he left. Statement resembles the statement resembles Joe on, I'm not sure what that means, on leaving. Advises the statement that Joe mentions leaving and was going to leave as well. Joe advises that, I don't know what the names are, but he was leaving, stayed and helped Stanley carry some wood to the cabin. So the guy, there's only one person left at the end, and he said he stayed there to help Stanley carry some wood into the cabin. And he advised he then used the restroom on the ground, so he peed on the ground outside, and then leaves. So then after he leaves, there's only three people left. Let's see. So, two sisters told me that their mother, Louise Autry, had retrieved Jerry's class ring a few years after the incident. The report reflects Louise contacted then State Police Detective Jim Blevins on March 27, 1974, requesting the ring, and after getting authority from then Sheriff Joe Gray, and then State Police Sergeant Richard Barker, the ring was released, advising she hadn't seen the ring and no one can find it after Louise passed away. She remembered, one of the sisters remembered seeing the ring and advised it was identifiable. The sister advised the stone was blackened from the fire and described the ring as just being a nugget. The sister also remembered her brother Jerry and Sewell coming to the house the night of December 17, 1971, and the sister advised Jerry and Sewell took some whiskey out of their mother Louise's liquor cabinet. The sister advised Jerry told her not to tell their mom he took the whiskey. The sister advised when Jerry and Sewell were at the house getting the whiskey, Sewell was wearing Jerry's class ring. So Sewell was wearing Jerry's class ring. Well, that's interesting. Because then, couldn't that be Sewell on one of those mattresses? On May 5th, 2022, I contacted Detective Roger Drew with the Indiana State Police to see if he had any evidence from the scene. Well, still in their evidence storage, Detective Drew advised he checked with the evidence personal and no evidence from the case was in their storage. It's unknown where Stanley Robeson's class ring was taken or stored. Let's see. In a report from the state police, they mentioned the only means of identification of Stanley Robeson and Jerry Autry were by two class rings. However, in the autopsy report from MD Merritt O. Alcorn, he states one of the remains was identified previously by a ring as Jerry Autry, and the other remains were identified as a single boy and thought to be the remains of Stanley Robeson, so they don't really know. After closely reading the state police reports and witness statements several times, I have put a timeline together from all individuals mentioned in the report or from their own statements. Through the timelines, I believe the cabin fire started at around 3 a.m. on December 18th, 1971. You know, I think I'm going to store we'll just go over this whole thing tomorrow. Because this is going to be the story. So I'm just going to get that saved up there. Because there's quite a few more pages here. And then we can talk about it for a while. So I think that's going to do it. Hey, what happened? Oops, I think you got accidentally deleted. A wedding sister, but she also made them sound. Yeah, we don't even know if any of that stuff was even real. TTJO about the sandwiches and whatnot. But anyways, we'll go over the rest of it tomorrow. But I just wanted to let you know that they are going to be exhuming the bodies and trying to identify the actual remains now. Alright, so I think that's going to do it for me tonight. So thank you to Peggy Day. I don't remember. Oh yeah, Being Nancy. And thank you very much for that one. Very generous. And then Miss Angels and Nick T. So thank you. And I gotta get, since my computer was turned off. Wait, do I still have that? No, I think I do. Yeah, look at that. So thank you to Georgina Stoliker, Chihuahua Dawson, Zozo, Tawny Lee, Linda Howell, Miss L, The Velvet Army, Georgina Stoliker, Jessica Schubach, Kathy Friedenmaker, Chihuahua Dawson again, Emily Flotilla, Mary Harris, Your Gypsy, Billy Juliana, the Mayor, The Velvet Army, Billy Juliana again, One Sly Angel, Amber Maiden, Georgina Stoliker, Plato, Jessica Schubach, Amber Maiden, The Velvet Army, WNC Granny, Zozo, Ink Twin 9. Let's see, Ink Twin 9. Where was that? Ink Twin 9, and then Ink Twin 9, and then she also had a member for 6 months. Cindy Leon and LM. Alright. So we're just gonna do the let's see. Well, we can do the either, how about this? Either the, because we're combining yesterday and together, both days together equal a mug. That's how slow it is comparatively. So we're going to do a mug for, let's see. What? Let's see. What was it? Oh, yeah. So the free cart mug with the sketch on it. All right. Free cart mug with a sketch. So that's going to be the win tonight, because I'm combining the two shows in a row. All right, here we go. Oops. Here, let me try to, how did I get this background? There was a way to do this. Advanced. I don't know. Where's the background? Oh, there you go. Okay, old design. That's the old design. And I think in this one I can change. No, wait, customize, appearance, background. There we go. And then pick like the green. There we go. If you advance mode, you may lose some of the color. Alright, so there we go. Yeah, look at that. It's got the, it subtracted out the background. Awesome. Oops, filter. Hold on, let me try to. No, that wasn't it. Okay, chroma key. Yeah. Alright, there you go. Alright, so we're going to shuffle it. Your favorite music, everybody. Play this for a while. The Love Boat, exciting and new. Come aboard, yeah. We're expecting you. My wife's laughing at me over here. All right, here we go. Here we go. That Paul Ayers. All right, Paul Ayers from yesterday. All right. All right, hell, let's do a notebook. All right. Unless if it's a Canadian or Australian one, forget it. All right, but I'm just saying. I'm nervous to spin that one because, man, it's like ridiculous just to send a notebook. Unfortunately, maybe we won't do it just in case. It's like a small mint. All right, let's see how it goes, all right? But if you want a notebook, if you send 25 on PayPal, you get the spins and the notebook. Look at that. Titanic-in from yesterday. All right, there you go. If you're out there, Titanic-in, you've just won yourself a notebook. Titanic-in lives in Madagascar. Oh my God! $7,000 to send a notebook. Oh wait, she lives on the Isle of Man. Where's the place that Susanna Nicola Podrig lives? I mean, hell, that probably cost $1 trillion to send it to that. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys all being here and supporting the channel all the best you can. Hopefully one of these days we can get back to what we used to do, but who knows, right? Who the hell knows? One thing is maybe go out and share the channel with people. Now we're down to 880. I mean, lose 8 subs during a show. When you can put out have a channel putting out absolute trash, showing the same videos on every show over and over and over of drone footage, get 3,000 people watching, and there's nothing on there of any substance at all. It just shows you how dumbed down our society is. Yeah, I don't know. I think YouTube also just kind of glitches out. They just... Yes. All right, well, hopefully the audio was a little bit better tonight, other than the fact that I actually hit the stop streaming button. That was a little strange, gotta be honest. All right, everybody, thank you very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 2 and a 3 and a... Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now.
Hey,
and
great,
during this whole
cool
time,
show, man,
I have
cool
not seen
show.
one person. Yeah, that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grego's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor,
meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, ya, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll send it to you straight out of the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right.
Great!
Alright, everybody.
Oh, great! These apples are pretty good, Grady! Nom nom nom.
Did you take one of my apples, Mary Lou?
I sure did, Grant. Pretty good. Alright, see you guys later.
Wow. I was wondering where it went, and there it is. Crazy. Alright. See you guys later.